Hey, Mr. Weiler, how are you doing?
Wonderful, Miss Mesnick.
Thank
Yourself?
you
How are
so much for joining me. I know that we were talking off camera
you?
about, the award ceremonies and all that kind of stuff, and I just thought that it would be really great for us to sort of have a chat about the upcoming Emmys.
Love it.
I have very mixed feelings about award shows because it's really hard to think about like the idea that we are quantifying art, an artistic storyteller, right? And that just doesn't feel quite right to me, but at the same time it draws so much attention to really great work and incredible performances and important stories. I mean, I don't know that if there's a more important show out there right now than The Pit and everything
Right.
it's bringing up in regards to the social aspects of our society that are being damaged,
Hmm.
and it shows up in that emergency room. Um,
Healthcare.
Healthcare, violence, drug abuse, school shootings. I mean, what has it not touched on yet? Mental health. Um, but you and I were getting all excited about a show that hasn't had a lot of buzz lately because it was such an early release, and
Hmm.
that's Brad Ingleby's Task.
Yes.
Yeah. So, and I remember you telling me about it, and then I went off and watched it
It was
immediately.
also a couple of our last year students were obsessed with it, and actually they said, "You've got to see it. You've got to see
So,
it."
so that's how, okay. So that's how you got
Yeah,
hooked
that's
into
how it happened.
it.
They were I think they loved the whole thing. They loved the storytelling. They thought it was exciting and it moved. I think they were also, I don't know if we'd been working on Impediments and Drunk at the time, but they were really into Mark Ruffalo's performance. They were really into seeing him dealing with alcoholism, seeing him deal with grief.
Yeah.
And when I actually mentioned to them, that we are in a golden age of content, I said, "Oh, it's the same people that did Mayor of Easton." And the students were like, "What was that?" I was like, "That was just a few years ago."
Yeah.
So of course I was really, once I saw it, I was just so attracted to that grit of the northeast part of
We
the
know
United States.
Jersey. We met in Jersey.
The Poconos. I didn't spend a lot of time in the Pennsylvania area, but
Yeah.
I mean, the storytelling. And again, I when I found out that Tom Pelphrey was in it, I went, okay, instantly.
Yeah.
I'd seen him in Ozark, and obviously was blown away. And then went, who is this guy? As far as where did he study? Again,
Hey, he's part of the family.
oh my God. And I wasn't surprised at all. So you see a guy of such kind of masculinity, virility, kind of this, and yet extraordinary vulnerability. I mean, men will watch that and go, how do I get there? And so to find out that he studied with Bill, where the demand, in the Meisner work, where the demand on being emotionally connected to a circumstance is rather high. So that actor, he blows me away.
Yeah. Yeah. His performance in Ozark, um, completely different from this guy. Yeah. So he is a Meisner trained actor from Rutgers, from Mason Grove School of the Arts, the same place we trained. So, when you see sort of
Yeah.
somebody coming up with that type of performance, the range in it is quite remarkable. And you're looking at somebody who has very contradictory personality traits because he is lovable and he loves fiercely and he's kind and he's gentle and he's playful and he is violent.
Hmm.
And that's the thing we like struggle with in our second year's worth of work. But what you need is the first year's worth of Meisner work because that's where he gets the vulnerability, right?
Hmm.
And I've seen a few of his interviews, and he talks about how he needed that day in day out sensitization to
Hmm.
be able to access that vulnerability, um, and that's what acting training does. And you don't see any of the acting training, but when you go back and you look at what he's doing, he is doing that personalized, deep sensitization work, and
Hmm.
it's It's really inspiring. I absolutely love it.
No, it is,
And
and not to repeat what you said, but maybe just a little more some specifics about it. He talk about how hard he worked, sitting with the headphones on, connecting as hard as he possibly could to a circumstance, the hours and hours of,
in
you
class,
know,
it didn't come
right,
easy, right?
so
But he
relaxed.
does do a lot of work. Like he went and trained with the sanitation department to know what it was like to drive a truck
I'm not
and
surprised.
how to, so that nothing was taking us out of that life and that world, right?
Hmm.
And
He's
yeah,
he's a special actor.
but you do the work and then you show up and you listen and you see the world through that character's eyes.
Yeah.
And that's we did train to do that. And he does it very, very well.
Yes, he does. He
Um,
is one of my favorites right now.
yeah, and I think that show is in a strange way, it is repeating a lot of the stuff that the pit is saying in a different format, in a very different style. Like, but
Mm.
so what's happening socially to those who don't have, right? And I love how they contrast Mark Ruffalo's character, who also has. Who, Mark is also doing some really wonderful character work. You talked about it at the beginning. He's an alcoholic. He is in deep grief over the death of his wife, and I'm not spilling any beans to anybody who hasn't seen it because that's
He
I feel like
starts there,
that
right? The
starts
series,
there,
it
right? That's
starts
the
there.
beginning of it, and you can see that almost everything he does is through the filter of that grief.
He's heavy with that
Yeah,
grief.
and we know Mark. We know Mark's work. He's so energetic and sharp and smart, and this character's not there.
Yeah.
And sometimes when you have an actor who has worked as much as Mark Ruffalo has, it's kind of hard to forget that you're watching Mark Ruffalo and really
Mhm.
just take in the character. But I had no problem with that because of the way he built into contradictions and the complexity. This guy is grieving, but he's still completely competent in
Mhm.
his work.
Yeah.
Um,
And even if his body isn't, I mean, actors are always gaining, maybe in losing weight, women, actresses, actors, all, but even if his body is not where it should be, you would expect an FBI agent to kind of be fit. He's completely in the body that he has. He's not trying to present someone who is strong, perfectly in shape, comfortable. And I think that embrace of that is really beautiful to watch too.
and they've written a delicious character there
Oh,
because
so good.
he's an FBI agent. It would be so easy to be FBI like, but he's everything opposite.
Yeah.
And there's something really incredible about watching somebody do that job while they're just hanging on by their fingertips.
He's also really good at his job. He's not like a
Yeah,
fumbling
he's not a
Peter
buffoon.
Falk
No.
Columbo type, but it's that sense of like, can this guy even get this done? And
These two play opposite each other,
mhm.
right? They are direct antagonists to each other,
Protagonist, antagonist, yeah,
and we root for them both.
amazing. And I think it's because Pelphrey loves so hard. He did it in Ozark, and maybe it probably is in the writing, but you still want an actor like that to play that role. His violence always comes with him being in pain. Like he does not miss a chance to show that he is loved and lost. It's never violence for the sake of violence. It is justified.
Yes. And
It's it.
that's the other thing that I loved and I brought up to a lot of our students, which is this: it is a textbook example of, you know what? You cannot judge a character. You have to justify it. They are making the best choice at the time that this is happening for
Yeah,
them, right?
yeah.
And I remember it was we had an incredible director at Rutgers, if you remember Hal Scott, And he would always just say that the amount you're judging a character is the amount of creativity you are lacking.
You're lacking, yeah.
You lack creativity if you are
Yeah.
judging that character because that character made that choice.
Yeah, you got to find
And
out
they
why.
thought for that moment, even if it was just for a second, that it was the best choice or the only choice,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And I think he approaches this character with absolutely no judgment so that he can just slip inside it and see the world through his eyes. Thanks for turning me onto it, and we'll
Thank our
see what
students.
happens. We'll, of course, we're rooting for you, Tom.
Yeah, yeah,
Well,
absolutely.
thanks for talking with me about it.
Yes. I'll see you next time.
Talk to you later.
Okay,
Bye.
bye.